Hello travelers, Boardman21 here, and today got some great news. The next patch 8.5 is dropping not this Friday but next Friday, March 18th. So that's when we'll be able to access it just in time for spring break. We also have other great news. They're releasing new updates to what's coming in that patch every day until patch drops, starting with today. So let's go ahead and go through exactly what's going to be coming each day and read through the post blog that they dropped for us today. Again, if you want to read along, the link to this post will be in the description below. So the next patch will be called the Deaths of Edera. That'll be the update for patch 8.5, and today is an exciting day to be part of the Last Epoch community. First off, thank you for being patient, waiting to hear what is in store for our next big update. The wait is now over, and your patience is about to be rewarded. So patch will be coming on March 18th. What does this mean for us? It means that starting today, we'll get new updates, features, or reveals every day for the next 9 days until we hit the patch release, which is kind of different than how they've done it before. Usually, we just kind of get info here and there leading up to it, usually starting a couple months before the patch even drops. This time they've been very, very quiet, and now we get all of our news in just a very quick hype week, as they call it, day to day for the next 9 days. So let's go ahead and see what we're going to get first here. Dungeons overview. Patch 8.5, the Deaths of Edera is introducing the second and third dungeon. We already knew that 2 new dungeons were coming, but we will get to see the names of them below. We want to go over what makes a dungeon, what the goals of a dungeon system are, and the future of dungeons in Last Epoch. Our goal with dungeons is to provide repeatable endgame content that exists within the world of the campaign. This means dungeons can and will be added to all sorts of areas within the campaign, and you may even be able to encounter dungeons fairly early on. With dungeons being designed to show up throughout the campaign in Last Epoch, each one is created with the ability to scale multiple tiers, starting from whenever they first appear in the campaign all the way to level 100. And we saw this with the dungeon Eternity Cache. We were able to get there mid-campaign and then even skip a couple of chapters if you were to do it. And it looks like we're going to be able to continue that with different parts of the campaign with all these different dungeons, some possibly before that, some possibly after that. As these dungeons are added to part of the core world of Edera, rather than being a side mechanic and their true lore to the timeline of the campaign, these dungeons will allow players to play through the campaign using different paths, rather than each character always following the same quest-to-quest path to get through the campaign to reach the endgame. With the right key, subsequent characters can instead enter a dungeon at one point during the campaign and end up at a different part of the campaign. This results in the opportunity to have unique and customized playthrough experiences. So as you have more alt characters, the campaign experience will be different for every one of them if you incorporate the dungeons and actually take part in them. Each dungeon is designed to have its own unique mechanic as well as its own unique rewards. While not all of these rewards may be as game-changing as the Temporal Sanctum's Eternity Cache was, each reward mechanic will provide a distinct method to fuel your character's progression. We plan to continue to add dungeons to Last Epoch for as long as we feel there is a good place for them in the world, and we feel we have a good way to implement a new mechanic and reward. However, enough dev talk. We know you're eager to hear about the new content to explore in patch 8.5, and we're excited to share. So first up, tomorrow, March 10th, they're going to be going over the new uniques. In 8.5, we're going to be adding a number of new uniques to Last Epoch, continuing to bolster the existing roster. Make sure to keep an eye out for this post to get a sneak peek at some of those new unique items. March 11th, they will go over the first one of 2 new dungeons coming, this one called Soulfire Bastion. North of Lake Lyeth in the Imperial era, a Lich of the Immortal Empire has unearthed the remains of the old Osprix battleground. Here he has discovered countless Sorum-made constructs and dangerous supply of potent elemental fire. Understanding the power of what he has discovered, he now works endlessly repurposing the constructs for use by the Empire and experimenting with the elemental fire to create a destructive resource known as soul embers. Exploring the dangerous excavations of Soulfire Bastion put an end to the Fire Lich Creamoris's destructive intent, and don't forget to fill your boots full of soul embers for your trouble. There is more than one individual in Edera that sees the value in what has been discovered here. March 12th, they'll be going over the Catalyst rework. Catalysts will be changing in patch 8.5, both visually and mechanically. These changes present a significant improvement to equipping item rigging and providing more versatile within the Catalyst item type. There is now more options with Catalyst for implicit selection, as well as helping provide a better gearing system with more options when comparing with other weapon setups. Currently, Catalysts are really only there if you want a base crit chance with spell-based characters. If you really think about it, you're either going to run a shield like Bastion of Honor, or you're just going to use a two-handed staff to do more damage. So hopefully this new Catalyst reworks makes them into a lot more builds, which would be really, really nice for them. March 13th, the new unique models will be explored. We know you want to look as powerful as you feel out there in Edera, and we are committed to that goal. We are introducing updated 3D models for 25 existing uniques. Join us March 13th to see your favorite unique items that are being brought to life in the real game. And then also March 13th, the new Wraith models. All Wraiths throughout Edera will receive a significant visual update. This includes both Necromancer, Summons, Wraith skill, as well as various Wraiths found throughout Edera. And then there is a picture of them looking pretty necrotically full of death. Really like it. New armor models coming on March 14th. In 8.5 Deaths of Edera, we'll continue to add to our roster of distinct armor designs. Keep an eye out for this post to get a nice view of some of the new armor sets you can collect for your favorite class. On March 15th, they'll be discussing the Arena of Champions. Dramon's fortress, once abandoned for years, has seen renewed activity in the Divine Era. A mysterious portal has opened within its walls, taking brave explorers to arenas around the world to face hordes of deadly enemies. While feared at first, these arenas quickly became a way to prove one's ability in combat, and with it drew the attention of the most talented fighters across Edera. Over time, the fortress adopted a new, more fitting name, Champion's Gate. The thrill of the arena is a calling that speaks to each of us differently. Competition, glory, renown, respect, no honor. While some cannot hear the call, others in Edera believe it to be an essential path of growth and a way of life. Others, though, are drawn even further towards the calling of the quest for glory and all they see now. They remain within the Champion's Gate, refusing to return to Edera, waiting to finally find a worthy opponent who is capable of a proper fight and a proper death. Then March 16th, it'll be the second dungeon, the Lightless Arbor. Edera's history holds many secrets, some stretching so far back that they fade into myth. Such is the case with the Lightless Arbor, the Mountain Beneath. Now, deep in the ruined era, during Edera's darkest hours, humanity will have to pay the price for that lost knowledge. Deep under the mountains that house the last refuge, there is an underground forest which has hidden away creatures and relics dating as far back as the ancient era. Really hoping that this dungeon brings in more dinosaurs. We know we only have that one time rift that goes to the ancient era, so really looking forward to being able to explore that more in a dungeon format and seeing more of those types of monsters. That'll be cool. One of these creatures, a massive construct made of plant and stone, has awoken. His lumbering beneath the last refuge threatens to cause a cave-in that would bury humanity's last light. Venture deep into the Lightless Arbor, walking past untouched by sunlight for over 1,000 years. Find safe passage through the dark, forgotten forest and caverns, eventually confronting the mountain beneath within the depths. Discover a mysterious vault, which, unknown for the world so far, still holds vast stores of unknown treasures. And really cool, you can see in this dungeon that they're finally bringing in the candlelight and the darkness surrounding you to make it feel more dark and just kind of creepy. March 17th, we'll get the patch notes, which is very weird. This is the first time they've ever given us a date for when we'll actually get the patch notes drops ahead of getting the patch notes. Pretty cool. And so we're going to go over those, obviously, when March 17th drops. And then March 18th will be patch day. On the 18th, the passage opens, the mountains lurch to life, and the champions stand awaiting challenges. Get into Last Epoch and discover these challenges as well as their rewards. Now, as you can see, they don't give us an exact time of when it is dropping on that day, but I assume in the patch notes, usually when the patch notes drops, they give us the time for the actual patch drop, so I'm hoping for that. So hopefully March 17th we'll know the exact time when on March 18th the patch will drop. Overall, some really cool things, and super excited to be making a video every day for the next 9 days since we'll have stuff to cover, and can't wait to try out this patch. The new dungeons should be pretty epic. Which one are you more excited for? The Soulfire Bastion or the Lightless Arbor? Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. As always, stay safe, travelers, and have a good day.